Do guitar players and musicians still use and need physical media? Is it still relevant with all the streaming technologies that have advanced in this current age? I'd like to share my own perspective on this. You know, when you go in someone's house and you can see what media they've got, what books, what CDs, it tells you a lot about the person. It tells you about their hobbies. And it's one thing that I still feel quite nostalgic about. I like to have things to hand, and as you can see here, there's a table right in front of me, and on this table I've got various different CDs. I still have lots of different jazz CDs and jazz DVDs and things like that, and I still buy them, not as often as I did 20 years ago, but I guess I still have value for a physical collection of some sort. The first reason why I think it's important for guitar players and musicians to collect physical media is you can find some absolute bargains if you're willing to kind of search for them, and once you've bought something that you really want, it's yours forever, and you tend to have a better relationship with something. If you've gone out and you bought a CD, then chances are you will actually listen to it, whereas you could stream hundreds of thousands of albums which most of us never listen to. So this, for example, is one CD that I got many years ago in a charity shop. I think it was £1 or £2, and this might just look like kind of a generic jazz guitar compilation or something like that, but the track listing on this particular one is really cool because it's got some kind of lesser known jazz guitar players on this as well. It's got Chuck Wayne, Joe Puma, Ray Crawford, Bruce Forman, so this it's just like something so cool, and I've always got that memory of doing that, and it really kind of turned me on to some other players that I didn't know. You obviously have that kind of tactile feeling as well when you can kind of open it up. You've got the CD right there, everything's very kind of hands-on. You just don't get that with streaming. You can go out and find gems like this, and you might only listen to them once, you might listen to them twice, but it's a cool thing to have, I think. Another charity shop find that I found recently was this record right here from the fantastic US jazz guitar player Howard Alden, and I think I've left the price tag. This was at the RSPCA charity shop, I think, so I don't know if you can see the price tag there, but this was only £1 actually, and this is a really excellent CD with a fantastic British rhythm section on. Howard Alden is a fantastic American jazz guitar player, and here he's with Jeff Simpkins, Simon Wolfe and Steve Brown. So this was like, the gem in a pile of really rubbish CDs, the kind of stuff that you usually find in charity shops. And I almost missed this, but then I just caught it, and I saw Howard Alden's name. So this was only £1, and so an absolute bargain really, for a fantastic CD like this, which is quite rare as well because it's a UK recording that Howard Alden did, so I don't think this one is that readily available either. This is one of the best bargains that I've ever come across. This is a phenomenal, one of my favourite saxophone players, Tubby Hayes. This is an album called Split Kick, live in Sweden, 1972, and this is one that I picked up in a place called HMV here in the UK, and believe it or not, I got this on a clearance for I think it was £1 or 99 pence. I'll put a picture up on screen if I can find it. So I knew who Tubby Hayes was, and because I knew that, I didn't know about this particular album, I thought it would be worth the risk. And yeah, his playing is absolutely kind of phenomenal on this, a really excellent kind of set list of jazz standards as well, like Autumn Leaves, Split Kick, Someday My Prince Will Come, etc. So yeah, something that I think is so cool. And this one, as far as I know, is not on streaming services either, so it's like that's another reason to get physical media, is you can never get everything you want on streaming services. You can get a lot and it's really good, and you can get some lesser known stuff, but you just can't find everything. And if you're a bit kind of obsessive like I can be, then you like to be able to, if you want to listen to something, you don't want a barrier in the way. For example, I've been getting into this phenomenally underrated Western swing guitar player recently called Leon Rhodes. I really highly recommend checking him out. There's a few clips on YouTube which show him kind of absolutely burning, playing with people like Willie Nelson. And a friend of mine recently sent me that clip, and I thought, yeah, I really want to get into him. And this friend also mentioned this wonderful CD called Almost a Tulsa, the Instrumentals. And as you can tell, it can tell me what tracks are on it, but there is no way to stream that. If I open up music and search that, it's not there. So the only way, if I want to listen to a player like Leon Rhodes, who doesn't really have that much of an extensive discography, especially, you know, one that really features his guitar playing in top form, is for me to get the CD. If I don't do that, then I'm not going to have it. So long and behold, I go here on eBay, I find a copy, and I've also got this book as well. And knowing me, because I'm into kind of books and stuff like that, this looks like a really nice kind of physical thing to have in my collection. What do? I make an offer, and I go and buy this CD, so that's something to look forward to. CDs also make good coaster mats. So kidding aside, this is something that I did, a recording that I did a couple of years ago in Florida, and it's something that I'm proud of. You know, it's got the picture of me on, it's got the set list, it's got the phenomenal musicians that I play with, and this will always be kind of like a physical memory of that recording. So you have things like this. It doesn't have to be like this, it could just be recording with friends, and you feel like you've got kind of something to show for some of your achievements. Having some of these as physical releases just makes me feel more excited to share them with you guys. As I'm going through them and kind of thinking which ones I should share, I just feel more excited. Like, for example, this one this is just a compilation called Nighttime is the Right Time, and it features some wonderful British jazz guitar players. Terry Smith and Phil Lee in particular are on this, and it's got some wonderful live tracks featuring Terry Smith, which are very, very hard to come by otherwise, very hard to find. So this is really recommended, and like I said, I just feel more passionate about this, holding it in my hands, knowing that I've listened to it, knowing that I can tell you about it, and I have some information about it because I've kind of felt more involved with it because I've got a physical copy. I mean, look at this one, for example. This is a compilation CD called Remembering René, featuring the wonderful Belgian jazz guitar player Rennie Thomas, and this is an excellent compilation. Some of these are come from vinyl, a couple of them are CD reissues, but they can be hard to find tracks, and with specific CD compilation, you get a wonderful booklet with some photos telling you all about René. If you're a typical jazz musician, or any kind of musician really, you're like me and you probably have a nice guitar but an old car. So the problem is, if you want to listen to music digitally, then you've got to get one of these things, which is an auxiliary cable with an iPhone adapter, and you've got to plug it in and faff around with all kinds of things before you get music coming on. Or you can simply turn on your radio and then put a CD on. You can just switch it to CD and you're good to go, and you're going to get music playing straight away, and you've got that nice tactile feeling of using a CD player in your car, which is always nice. And if you're like me and you're completely retro as well, then what you're going to have is one of these, which is a CD wallet, so you've got all the music that you want accessible. So that's another reason for having physical CD media. I don't want to come across as fully anti-streaming. I certainly use it a lot, and I recommend it. For example, if you're just kind of taking a popular name like Wes Montgomery, this is fantastic. If you're getting into jazz guitar and you just want to be able to listen to, you know, all of Wes's stuff. I mean, look, you've got his kind of landmark albums that everybody talks about. Incredible Jazz Guitar, Smoking at the Half Note, Full House. All these are wonderful kind of recordings by Wes. And if you know what you're looking for and you know what to listen for, then that's fantastic. And if you, like I said, if you know what you're looking for, you can find some really good gems amongst this. For example, this one here, In the Beginning, is a release that came out about 10 years ago at the time of recording this video, and it's fantastic because you get to hear Wes play very early on in his career, basically, and you get to hear him even play some kind of raunchy blues stuff, and it's a very cool kind of expensive CD if you were to buy it physically, and it's quite rare. So to be able to go and just to listen to that is an absolute treat. Of course, the only downside is, like, there's so much of it. If you don't know what to listen for, then you know, you might just become overwhelmed by this as well. So that can be kind of, you know, the only off-putting side of it. So those are some of my thoughts and feelings about physical CDs and why I still get them in the year of recording this. Like I said, I don't really buy them very regularly because you can stream so much, but for me, I think they have a purpose. You have something that you generally kind of spend a bit more time with and you feel a bit more invested with. And of course, if you are purchasing CDs from jazz musicians that are alive and gigging, then you're directly supporting them. Even if you are perhaps listening to their music on streaming, if you've got their physical CD, then there's often, you know, a nice kind of booklet that comes with it as well, and it's a direct way of supporting kind of live jazz musicians. I could talk about vinyl, but I feel like vinyl is an entire kind of separate topic. You've got to remember that there's so much great jazz that didn't even get moved from vinyl onto CD. So if you really want to kind of seek out some really interesting rare jazz, then vinyl's pretty much the only way you're going to get it. And some of it I don't think would ever get kind of reissued onto CD. So that could be perhaps another video. But just for now, those are my thoughts on CDs. What do you guys think? Am I hopelessly living in the past? It's okay if I am, when I've got my kind of CD case and, you know, all my discs and stuff like that still there. Some people are often very surprised when they see all this kind of physical media, but I'd love to know what you guys think about a physical CD collection.